Happy week one of college football. I'm very excited about that. Okay. I'm gonna stay neutral in this moment right now.
I say go Dogs right now, but
Okay.
our son might end up at Auburn, so
He might. Oh, maybe, we don't know.
I don't know how many.
I think it's cool that there's a week zero in college football now, because it's like you kind of get, you get to watch a game in Ireland.
Yeah.
I don't know. I sat on the couch and watched that for 3 hours on Saturday. Thank you for allowing me to do that. It was awesome. I want to share just a couple of thoughts here as we're opening this morning. We talked a lot about our time at Mega Camp last week, and you guys already know I'm a huge fan of Ryan Leak, and he was there at CEO Summit at Mega Camp last week. I'm just going to read a few things that he said, and then we're going to share some gratitude in the room. He said, our level of gratitude determines our level of enjoyment in life. Love that. Complaining robs us of energy we could be using to contribute. He said, what would happen if you gave up complaining for 1 week? Right? I'm still trying to do that. I don't know. Have I been successful?
You're right. I'm
Okay.
failing miserably.
We're there.
So if you're giving up complaining for 1 week, substitute it with gratitude. And then I found this morning. If the only prayer you ever said in your entire life is thank you, it would be enough. So let's share some things we're grateful for in the room, just to build some gratitude in the room. I have plenty that I can tell you guys that I'm grateful for, but I don't want to let y'all go first. What do you guys got? Who's thankful for something this morning? Carrie.
I'm thankful for Miss Melba Franklin.
Yeah.
I don't already know this. I'm just gonna shout her accolades as always. If you guys ever are in any kind of situation, anything, there's nothing in the world that feels better than having a person like Melba Franklin to back you up. I mean, it just gives you all the confidence in the world. Anything you're going through, any question you ever have, you can always move through with certainty and feel so much better because of this lady right here.
That's so good. Love that. Who else has something it can be about someone or something, just something you're grateful for. Miss Jan.
I am grateful for my bold coach.
Oh, okay.
So we talked about affirmations, and one of the things I've struggled with, and Melba and I were even talking about it, is our health. And I just want to give you guys the 2 affirmations that I got from him is I'm a healthier version of myself. And the other one, and this one just kind of blew me away. 1% of your day is 15 minutes. What are you doing to be intentional today? And those are my 2
I
affirmations.
love that.
Like, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
15 minutes. I can
Yeah.
do 15 minutes.
Yeah, you can.
Right.
You know?
And
Yeah.
1%.
And I can do that 15 minutes and apply it to my health journey or my business,
Mhm.
whatever, and just be really intentional every
That's what I
day.
celebrate. Anybody else have anything? Nobody has anything they're grateful for. Come on, let's go.
I'm actually grateful for Carrie and
Yeah.
Charlie, Carrie's husband.
Yeah.
For allowing me to borrow their light for my first DJ night at a restaurant.
Oh,
They called me the day after. I'm like, are you free next weekend? Cause we love the vibe and everything.
Oh.
Love it. Yeah. This was your first DJ gig? Is that what
At
I
a
read?
At that restaurant.
At that
And
restaurant.
it was an Indian restaurant, so it was very weirdly Latin night. but-
Yeah.
People are new that Latin night next Monday, so.
That's awesome. I love that.
Awesome.
Love
Debbie had
that.
one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm thankful for this market center. Every time I come to a function here, to a meeting, whatever, I meet a new friend. And so I'm thankful for my new friend here. She introduced herself, so
Oh.
appreciate everybody is so friendly and nice.
Oh, that's great.
Who we want to be, right? We
Yeah.
want to be friendly. Anybody else have anything they want to share? It's okay if not, we can move on. Yes, Myra.
I am thankful for all of you, and for my health. I had a little bit of an emergency surgery just a couple of weeks ago, and thanks to all of you that, reach out and prayed and send me, really good vibes, because I had no issues, and I have a good feel of health.
Hell. That's amazing. Yeah, we have breath in our lungs this morning.
Yeah.
Right? What a miracle. And I do have to give you a shout out, Myra. So you had surgery on Monday
Monday.
and you were in bold on Wednesday.
She was.
That's kind of outrageous, but also awesome at the same time. So,
The rest of the week, so.
okay, good,
First, to just sit there and listen, and then the rest,
good,
work out,
good.
so.
I'm glad you're good. That's awesome. Anybody else have anything to share? Or we can dive into our agenda? So we have an awesome, really just full day here at KW Roswell. I'm super excited. Melvin's gonna share in a minute. Brian Smith is here to share some of his strategies, how he built his business and cold calling. Our amazing GM Loredana is here to share some strategies using chart masters around listing conversations. And then this afternoon, the Chathams are here to talk about land. So just an awesome day here. So why don't we keep things rolling? Miss Melba Franklin, let's welcome. Hey,
Good morning, good morning, good morning. If you don't have my name and telephone number and email, there it is. So make sure you put it in your favorites and you can call me. So today I'm going to talk about some issues that we have that are concerning that I wanted to share with you. The first one being is lead-based paint. So Carrie's right. If the Georgia Real Estate Commission calls me, call me quickly and let me help you walk through it. If GAR sends you an email or GAR for ethics or arbitration, you call me immediately. I want to help you and I can help you walk through any of that. But if you get a call from EPA regarding lead-based paint, anybody remember what I tell you after this one? Thank you very much. Wendy remembers. Don't call me. Call an attorney. I cannot help you. Does everybody get this? I don't know. I don't know what happened with lead-based paint. But if you'll notice, all the forms now have added a lead-based paint paragraph to just about everything. It's very redundant. It's very repetitive. It's a nightmare. So I'm telling you that the way the law reads is that you have to share where there is or is not lead-based paint involved prior to making the offer. So it's just a little bitty line on number 9 on the purchase and sell agreement, and you cannot not miss it. And you miss it. And then we get on to you and you say, but it's not built before 1978. Well, then check's not built before 1978. So the point is this, we're in compliance. We're going to tell you to correct it with an amendment. And we're going to put it in the file and say a prayer that nobody comes back because you're already made a boo-boo because it says prior. So, but we're going to want you to correct it just so it to be in the file. Folks, I cannot emphasize enough about lead-based paint. It's so crazy what has happened. Last year, I'm not really sure. I've heard some horror stories. Maybe that instigated it. I don't know. But you got to do it. The second thing I want to bring to you is that all of you know that our policy regarding dual agency is that we discourage it, but we do allow it. And the only thing is, if you are going to do it, you have to have written permission. That's literal now, written permission. So you call me, I'll ask you a few questions. Once I ask you these few questions, then I will give you, if I give you permission, then I will send you an email. You give me the names of the buyer, the name of the seller, the name of the address, and then I send you an email back and tell you you have permission. And then you copy that and you upload it into the opportunity. And we've created a new tag and it's called miscellaneous. That way, if something happens in 2 or 3 years, then we can always go back to the file and find that email that I gave you written permission. Well, what is interesting is that 75% of all the calls that I get to ask me if they can do dual agency, once I ask a few questions, it's not dual. That's what's so interesting. So thank goodness that we make you call me, because a lot of times it's really not dual. So this is the key. There's 2 sides to every deal, period. Door slam, bar none. But many times when you call me to ask me to do dual and I ask you the questions that I ask you, I find out that you're really going to be on both sides, but you're not representing the client, one of the people as a client. So for example, if in the event that you have an open house and you meet a buyer at that open house, you are going to be, there's 2 sides to every deal. There's somebody working with the buyer and you are working with the buyer. Am I right?
Yes.
So everybody said yes.
Yes.
But you're not representing the buyer as a client. You're representing him as a customer. So you would be at the bottom on number 9, on number 10, I think there's a copy of it. You would be right here, and it says, buyer's broker is Keller Williams Realty Consultants, working with the buyer as a customer. Over here, you would say, seller's broker is Keller Williams Realty Consultant, working with the seller as a client. And on the last page, you will be on both sides. Everybody got it? Same thing. If you have a buyer that's gonna buy for sale by owner, you're gonna be on both sides. A lot of people say, but I'm not really representing. No, you're not. This is the only document that a buyer signs and a seller signs, acknowledging who represents who. Yes, you've got these separate agreements with them, but this document, the contract signed by buyer and seller. And you need to disclose to the buyer and to the seller who you actually work for and how that relationship is. Does that make sense? So a lot of people don't understand that. You are working with the seller, even though you're not representing the seller, maybe you're working with them as a client. Everybody got it? Or as a customer? Same thing. So you're on both sides. There's 2 sides of every deal regardless. Any questions?
What differentiates a customer and a client?
Oh, good question. Well, the question is, the reason I'm gonna ask you some questions is I'm gonna say to you, so tell me about the buyer. Well, I don't know the buyer. They just came to an open house. Well, you didn't have a buyer broker engagement with them. You didn't meet them. You don't really know them. Am I right? So in a customer relationship, this is the rules. You have to be honest with all parties. You already know what I'm about to say, but you don't have to be fair. Represent, in that case, the seller, right? Or the buyer, whichever one you represent. You have to be fair to them. You don't have to be fair to the other person. But you have to be honest. So there are customer duties and there are client duties. So as a customer, you wouldn't give them advice, would you?
No.
You wouldn't help them with anything.
No.
But now, let me say this. This is a question most people ask here in this, which I think where you were leading to. Well, in that case, can I help them get an inspection if it's a buyer customer? Yes is the answer. Because are you really helping the seller?
Yes.
Yes. So you can help them get an inspection. You can schedule an inspection. You might even help them find be a lender. I mean, none of that is really bad because you're helping the seller get the deal together, right?
Mhm.
So you can't tell them how much the seller will lower his price, or you can't do that. If they ask, what about closing costs? And you can say, and you've got my classes, you remember what I say, well, in the last 3 closings last 3 sales that have happened in here, buyers have asked this much, so you could do that if you wanted. So you're giving them statistical information based on facts. You can do that. But you're treating them as a customer, but you really are not have to be fair to them. You're only fair to who? The client, okay? So there's a difference in customer and client, but can you help them do those things? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Did I help answer it a little bit? Anything else?
Okay, they have an inspection and they have to do an amendment to address concerns.
Okay, if they want to do an amendment to address concerns, I'm gonna show them the inspection and say, what would you like the seller to ask for? That's what you do, sit there and ask for. And you type it up just like they want to. You don't say, well, I don't think the seller do that. Or I think that's asking too much, or you should ask them to do that because that was on there. No, I mean, they can read. And so you let them look at it and say, I'll be glad to type the amendment to address concerns. And by the way, it has to be within this time frame. The reminder, if you know me, you know I love the reminder of important dates.
Right.
And I add a few things to it, like the earnest money. And so I might say who, would I give them a copy of that?
Yeah.
They can read, right? So in the amendment, that reminder of important dates, which I just think is the cat, folks, if you don't like it, that's fine, but create your own. But you should be giving that to the other agent every time. And in this case, since they're not represented, whether it be a seller or a buyer, I'm gonna give it to the seller. If he's not represented, I'm gonna give it to the buyer so that they can see, because they can't count. And so if it says 10 days from, I'm gonna give them the date that it ends. Am I right? Okay, is that okay to give to that buyer? Yes.
Yes.
Do you have to say tomorrow's your last day, stupid? No. You see, are we good?
Can you tell us a little bit about dual agency?
Dual agency literally means that you represent the buyer as a client and the seller as a client. Now, I've been doing this for nearly 50 years, and I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy. I'm not comfortable with it. But it's like I had an agent call me up and say, Melba, I have a really, really good friend who gave me their daughter to find a condo, and I have been looking and looking and looking, and they changed. And dadgummit, I realized that the condo that I have, or a house that I have, really fits their needs perfectly. And I have it listed. I know the seller. I know everything about the seller. Well, I know the buyers have been taking them around a few days, and they have a buyer broker engagement agreement. That's called dual agency. Now, what a lot of people want to do, and I don't have a hat on, but typically what they do is they have the hat on there where the buyer's agent say, now I'm not going to be dual agent. I'm just going to take my hat off and now say on the form that I represent them as a customer. You can't just take your hat off and check a box. You know them. Does that make sense? So that's why when you call me, I'm going to ask you a zillion questions. And some people, I'm going to be honest, are not comfortable with it at all and say, you can refer it and get a big referral fee. It's still hard to do because you know them, but I can do it and you can do it. And a lot of people have done it at a high level. You just have to be very careful. You have to be very, very, very careful. Can you give them this information? Yes. Yes.
I was just saying, I usually always tell my client that the example I give them between working with some of the client's customer is if I'm working with you as a client and you tell me like, hey, I'm not gonna put the refrigerator on the seller's disclosure, I'm gonna make them ask for it. And then if I'm working with someone as a customer, I don't tell them that versus like, oh, hey, they said they were gonna do that. Make sure you ask for it. So I just give that as an example.
Excellent, 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 excellent. Because you're being fair to the seller. He doesn't really want to give it up, but if they ask for it, so heck, I'm not going to tell the buyer because that would not be fair to the seller. But you have to be honest. Excellent.
But if you're representing the seller and the buyer as a client, you have to be fair to both of them.
Yes, ma'am.
And work out the best deal for all parties involved.
Yes. Just can't tell them what, as a matter of fact, where is this? I think it's somewhere, it's written out for you what it gives a blow by blow by blow. I teach a brokerage class. I don't know if I taught it here, but I probably need to come back. It is a good class. It goes over the buyer broker engagement agreement, the seller broker engagement agreement, tells you how, when, and where. It's pretty detailed class. It's 3 hours to see and it's free. So maybe I need to come back and do that broker. Some of you have taken it already, and it's a pretty big class. And with the new forms changing, with the buyer, we talked about this in the hour and a half. I did an hour and a half class last week. Some of you were here, and in that we talked about how to communicate one of the scripts for that buyer broker engagement and the seller broker engagement. And that would be good too. There we go. Good questions. Hope that helps. Thank you.
Helps very much. Thank you for being here. Ms. Mel has a few minutes to go to, but she came to spend time with us, so thank you. All right, we're gonna jump into our guest that's here today. Brian, I'm gonna read some stuff about you real quick before you come up here. We're very grateful that you're here, so.
Preview it.
What's that?
Going to preview it?
Yeah, make sure it's true. So Brian Smith, top 1% of all agents nationally, a top 100 agent in Gary Keller's mastermind. He is a multi-year ALC member. And also you guys know him as one of the co-hosts of our legacy group, Mastering the Market of the Moment Masterminds. You've probably seen him on a lot of cold calls, right? So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brian Smith.
Well, I didn't wear that shirt.
Good to see you, man. Yes, sir. So we just, you've got any questions, right? A little bit.
I glanced at 'em.
You did?
Yeah, I
Okay,
glanced
cool.
at 'em.
Okay, awesome. So I think what I want to do is just kind of understand how you got started in the business and just take me on kind of your journey, just high level from when you started to where you are today.
Yeah. So started 8 years ago. And just out of necessity, I didn't, always kind of make fun of folks that quit a job before they have another one. But I was that guy. I quit a job before I had something else going on.
What did you do? What were you doing
And
previously?
so my family we started a company that was internet-based website, Yellow Page ads, if you guys even know what that is. So I sold Yellow Page ads with my mother and father for 20 years.
Wow.
And it started becoming like a you know, obviously things have changed and, the dynamic between my father and I, you know, but it was becoming strained.
Hmm.
And, you know, before that burned down, I decided I was gonna do something different. And took off, you know, went on different job interviews for 6 or 8 months and my wife was like, you've got to go do something. You gotta get a job and, just started, you know, I was like, I'll go back to school, I'll go back to school. And, you know, pulled up the internet and said, I'm gonna go get my real estate license. And that's as much thought as I had given it at that point. And, you know, so it was just out of necessity, the cold calling things that, you know, we talked about a fair amount was just out of necessity. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. So 8 years. So you get started in the business. You're like, hey, I guess I'll get my real estate license.
Yep.
What was like the first 6 months or year like for you?
Yeah, so the first, I think 9 months, you know, closed at 28 families helped, 8 million or so, 8 million bucks. And it just started, we were doing the gratitude thing at our office, so I met Melba, she left, right, so. I interviewed a bunch of different brokerages and, bumped into anyway, that's a different story, But we were doing the gratitude thing and what are you thankful for? And a lot of, folks in the audience were like, well, I've got my first listing, or I had my first appointment, or I've got my first buyer. And I told myself, I'm not coming back to this stinking meeting without having something I'm gonna be happy about, real estate related. And, I was determined I wasn't going back to that team meeting without having something signed and,
Wow.
you know, so my first listing was signed on the bed of a truck, pouring down rain. I didn't know how to fill out the computer document, so I had two inked listing agreements that I left on with him and one I took for myself, and so it was just out of, necessity, I mean.
How did you get that listing?
You know, so we started off, I met with another agent, so I found a good group of agents that kind of were support, you know, just your tribe, so to speak.
Yeah, community.
And we wanted folks that had their hands up, you know, folks that were in the market now. And so I cut my teeth on expireds and force up owners, and that's where the majority of my business came from the first few years. You know, it's changed now a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah.
so expireds and force up owners.
So how do you, because I'm going back to your experience previous to real estate where you were selling advertising, right? So how, surely that experience was really helpful coming over to the real estate side, right?
Yeah, I would say in the sense, very similar to what we were just talking about, the client customer kind of relationship. In selling advertising, I know my loyalties were to the company, but also had to be loyal to the person buying, right? And so sometimes those lines get blurred for profit and for revenue's sake. And so with this, it's very easy. I work for the buyer, I work for the seller. And so that was kind of a relief for me, knowing exactly who I work for as opposed to them being blurred for so many years, so to speak. You know, if I'm yeah, and I think, you know, being told no, or I had a buddy of mine that said, well, because people would ask, well, how'd you have so much success early on? And his response was, tell them to go sell Yellow Page ads for 20 years. You know, then selling this seems a little bit simpler.
Yeah.
So I guess the being told no, or, you know, one thing I've always been good at is making people earn the no.
Hmm.
They make us earn the yes, like they make us earn the yes in our conversations. And I've always been good at never assuming a no.
Hmm.
I don't just give you the no, I don't assume the no. I don't just imagine that you're gonna tell me no. You know, I make you earn it. You're gonna earn the no if you're gonna make me earn the yes. And so that's kind of how, that's, you know, kind of how we started our business, with making them earn it.
That's really good. Earn the no. So you approach a call thinking if someone's going to tell you no, they're going to have to earn
They're
it.
gonna earn it.
Huh.
I'm not gonna concede the no.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna call Loredana today because she just had lunch,
Hmm.
or she just had team meeting, or it's Monday and she's busy, or, you know, whatever. What we give ourselves we give the answer to ourselves. We tell ourselves they're gonna say no. And so I make them earn it. If they're gonna tell me no, it's gonna be earned,
Hmm.
not assumed or given or conceded.
Okay, so in 9 months, you did 28 deals.
Yep.
Calling FISBOs and expired. So,
FISBO's expired, so I had three, so people in my phone,
mhm,
and then FISBO's and expireds.
okay, so you call a FISBO, like what was your go-to, like where did you start? Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of asking someone, have I caught them at a good time? Hey, Lord Honor, Brian Smith, have I caught you at a good time? As opposed to me just getting, I think we have a tendency, it bothers me when someone calls me and they just jump right into whatever they're selling.
Totally.
They just jump right into it. I've just sat down for dinner, man. I'm interested in what you're selling maybe, but you're not being considerate of my time. And so if you wanna have a short conversation with me, call me and you just start blabbing your mouth.
Yeah.
So I wanna ask for permission to speak. Hey, have I caught you at an okay time? Well, no, Brian, I just sat down for dinner. Hey, I understand dinner time's vital. When would be a better time for me to call you back? Can you give me 30 minutes? Absolutely, I'll 30 minutes. And so that's how I start every call with Lord Donna. If I call her, I've known her for many moons. If I call her, Lord Donna, Brian, have I caught you at a good time? So that's kind of how I open every conversation with, man, is I want to get a concession for me to speak, not just getting right into what I'm
That's great.
saying.
Well, it leads with empathy. Like, hey, I value your time. Like, is now a good time to chat? I mean, I think that's great.
Well, and they tell you why it's not.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I call Lord Donna, hey, Lord Donna, Brian Smith, Keller Williams, have I caught you at a good time? Well, no, Brian, it's a bad time, and then they tell you why it's a bad time. As opposed to saying, hey, Lord Donna, Brian Smith, Keller Williams, have I caught you at a bad time? I'm giving her the answer. Have I caught you at a bad time? Yeah, it's a bad time. As opposed to have I caught you at a good time, then she's got to tell me why it's a bad time. That makes sense?
Interesting, yeah.
So I want to know why, because it's easy. It's like anytime well, Lord Donna, I know you probably already have an agent. Well, yeah, we've already got an agent. Well, Lord Donna, I know that you're probably not going to use an agent. Yeah, we're not going to use an agent. How many times do we give the answers that we don't want to hear?
Wow, yeah.
Think about that. And so if you're calling I don't want to give the answer to anything. Lord Donna, I know you're probably just thinking about because interest rates are high. Yeah, I'm just thinking about it because interest rates are high. You give them the bullet they shoot you with.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that, I mean, maybe I'm the only one who does that. Maybe I'm the only one who's done that.
Well, there's plenty of objections, right? So to go ahead and give them one is, you're starting out behind, right?
If you guys sit there and listen to your calls and think about what you're saying to people, you're telling them most of the time the answers that you're probably most afraid to hear. You're giving them the objections you're most afraid to hear because it's on the forefront of your mind and you're just telling them what to use against you.
Wow.
Maybe I'm the only one. I can see by a lot of nods out there. There's a lot of nods out there, so apparently I'm not the only one.
Okay, so do you lead gen every day?
Yes.
What time? Like are you with us during lead gen time right now?
I am.
We're very-
I technically I am. And so I think the busier you get, the easier it is to make excuses not to do certain things. And a few weeks ago, I was telling my coach, man, I feel like I'm on fire, like I'm frazzled. I don't, and he goes, well, do me a favor. And I always hate it when a coach says that. Share your screen with me. Okay. That's a pretty nervy thing to do. So I shared my screen with him, and man, I had dates and deadlines and contingency dates and walkthroughs and photos. I had everything on my calendar. And he's like, no wonder you feel like you're on fire, man. Your calendar's a mess. And so it's been cleaned up, and it's a little busier today because I'm here with y'all. I mean, you can kind of see, breakfast with my daughter, that's Wednesdays. My team call, bold, lead gen follow-up. I gotta put lunch on my calendar.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who skips lunch? I have to put lunch on my calendar because I will get home at 4 o'clock and I'm like, man, I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah,
So I've simplified it a lot
that's great.
to make it not as like, man, on fire feeling.
So you're getting ready to lead gen.
Yeah.
What how do you get your mind right?
I think agents need to do stuff. Okay. We've got the hours of the day that we can make calls, and we've got the hours of the days that we can't really make calls, right? I mean, you could call someone at midnight, but it wouldn't work out very well, right?
It
And
would
so
it would definitely
It
not
would,
be a
it
good.
wouldn't work out very well. And so I think we have a tendency to do so many things during this time frame that we can do here. Meaning clean out your email, get your call list set up, respond to emails, get your day plan. So many of us do things during the day that need to be done at nighttime or first thing in the morning. And if you can do it at night, you should not be doing it during the day. And so I'm a very broad brush person. It's like when someone says, well, what should I do to my house? Okay, I'll tell you, it's real simple. Anytime I walk around, I go, whatever that is, that's what you need to fix, any of the uhs. And so if you can be doing it, if you can do it at night, you should not be doing it during the day.
That's good.
And how many of us do that stuff all day to pretend we're busy or to think we're busy or to convince ourselves that we're doing something that's moving the needle?
All of us are guilty of that.
Bad.
At some point,
I'm
right?
horrible
Yeah.
at it. Yes.
Yeah. That's good. Okay, so you're,
So it's a general question.
Got
It's a
it.
very vague answer.
yeah, yeah,
But if it can be done at nighttime, you should not be doing it during the daytime.
yeah. So you got really used to hearing objections in your advertising sales days,
Sure.
but.
And I've been married 27 years too. So. Yeah.
Amen. We won't tell your wife.
Yeah. She knows.
So objections, right? Getting rejected. How do you just like, whatever, it's all the no's just lead to a yes? I mean, is that kind of your mindset? Like, do you have tough days where you just get rejected over and over?
I think everyone does. And it's just early on, someone told me that if you get every listing appointment you go on, you're not going on enough.
Yeah,
And if you bat 1,000 with everyone you call, guess what? You're not calling enough people.
yeah,
Just we know that, was it 100 conversations turn into a piece of business, right? If we know that 100 conversations turns into a piece of business, if we're just average, if you're average. And depending on how many pieces of business you want to do, will dictate how fast you get through that 100 conversations. And so if you want to do one deal a month, then you have 25 conversations a week, and you will do one deal a month.
do y'all hear that?
So if you want to do 2 deals a month, then you need to have 50 conversations a week. If you want to do 4 deals a month, you have to have 100. So it's not a complicated thing. And so I would rather get told no quickly,
Yeah,
right? And and we all act like those no's are gonna be like, they're not stab wounds, people avoid us, people don't answer our calls, people send us to voicemail, right? I mean, and these are, okay, I'll give you an example. I don't answer the phone every time my wife calls, and I love her more than anybody on the planet. Right? I don't answer her phone call. Like if she were to call me now, she would go to voicemail. Right? If she called me 3 times, I'd probably pick up.
yeah,
Right? And so for whatever reason, we get our feelings hurt when we call people back and they don't answer our phone call. Like you're making them, okay. It gets back to that. I'm gonna make them earn the benefit.
yeah.
And so they think, man, they've made a great decision if they don't call you back, if you don't believe in yourself enough to call them back. And I tell folks, hey, man, Lord, it's my job to follow up with you. It's not your job to follow up with me. Well, Brian, I'm so sorry it's taken me, this many times to get back with you. Don't apologize to me. I get it. Life happens. So I want to let them off the hook, but don't be upset when someone doesn't call you back because they're not answering the phone from their spouse sometimes.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, follow-ups on me, right? I think
Follow-ups
that's
on
great.
us.
Yeah. What do you do when you go to pick up your phone and you just really don't feel like it?
I mean, I don't really feel like that anymore. I don't really have those. I think it's consistency over intensity. And, if we try to go out there and someone's gonna make 100 dials today or 50 dials today, they get burned out. But I think it's just like, if you're going to the gym or if you're starting to walk, if you decided today that you wanted to go run a marathon and you've never ran a marathon, you're gonna get burned out, you're probably not gonna make it, right?
Yeah.
So being consistent time on task over time, you know, and then it just gets to feel weird when you're not doing those things. Just like anyone here that goes to the gym on a regular basis, it feels weird if you don't do that. You know, whatever your habits become. So no, I don't even think about it now. I don't
Yeah.
even think about it. Everyone's got life happening. Everyone, you know, we can't pretend to imagine what's going on in everyone's world if they're mean or if they're, I prefer the mean people, right? I prefer those because,
Really?
okay, I can tell you why. Okay, how many of us in here have nice people that have been maybes for 8 months?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybes. So the nice people that are maybes to y'all, guess what? They're nice to other agents too. And those other agents feel the maybes and they're counting them in their pipeline as well. So I can give you some insight. You're not the only agent they're talking to, unless it's your mom or aunt or something, right? But the mean guys, no one calls the mean guys back. No one returns that guy. No one ever follows back up with the mean person.
Except for
Chuckle,
you.
chuckle.
Yeah.
But those guys are the ones that no one calls back.
Ryan calls.
But then you get on, you're on their team, then they're loyal to you. There's a 4 sub owner that I called on early on. And he finally agreed to list with me. And he provided a descending compensation plan based on how fast I performed. Right? So this many days, you know, and he had it written out, very detailed. And so at the closing table with this gentleman, his wife said, Brian, thank you so much for putting up with him. Most people would have never tolerated some of the things he said to you. Cause he wasn't a very pleasant individual, right? Well, since then, I've sold both of his daughter's homes. I've sold his lake house. He had a $2 million lake house that I sold, but that was all because I've earned a spot on his team. And I take what I do seriously. I don't take myself seriously. If someone's being mean to me, man, I don't know what's going on with their world or what's going on in their mind. I don't know. It's my job. I don't take it personally. You know, my job is to help you buy or sell. I'm going to do the best that I can for you, regardless if you are horrible to me. Right? Now, over time, I tell the folks on my team, man, you want to dilute what you've got going on. Meaning, if you guys have a bunch of nice people that are 8 months in and they still haven't done anything, you know, you're counting on them falsely, in my opinion, and dilute those folks, dilute them, add more opportunities to your database, add more opportunities to your funnel, and you can not count on them as much, right? And so the guys that are mean now, that are just horrible, I've got thick skin, but there's only so much that I'll tolerate. Like there are some people that, man, it's a two-way street. We're interviewing one another. This isn't lunch money for me. This isn't, so whether you choose to go with me or not, you know, you probably need to work with someone else. And but it takes pipeline. You know, someone once, I've just recently heard this, your standards will be dictated by your pipeline. So if you have a very thin pipeline, you will waive on your standards. If you've got a thick pipeline and you got a lot of stuff going on, you can hold true to that. And so I would rather hold true to what my standards are. Whether that, I mean, honesty, loyalty, grit, growth-minded family. Honesty, loyalty, grit, growth-minded family. That's who I want to work for. That's who I want on my team. That's who I prefer to pour into as far as new agents or whatever. And if you're not honest and you're not loyal and you're not gritty, you don't value growth and you don't value family, then, man, that's kind of like 5 strikes for me.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be hard for me to want to work with you.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, that makes me feel like I need to work on my pipeline. Anybody else feel like that? Right? But creating standards for yourself, I think enables you to serve people better. So I think that's awesome. Can we get granular for a minute? Like super granular? So, how do you handle the objection? I already have an agent without sounding pushy or dismissive.
Sure. Everybody's got another agent, right? Everyone knows another person. And so, hey, I get it, Laura Donna. All I'm asking is for a few minutes to just, you know, you can, see what I've got to offer, bounce it off. What does it hurt to have another person's opinion? You know,
Yeah.
all I'm asking is for a few minutes, and let me ask you this, Lord, would you automatically give it to Steve automatically? Is this someone that's, let me back up. Also like to ask who the other agent is. Right? Have you guys ever done that? Oh, I'm working with someone else. Oh, really? Well, who is it? I might know him. And they can't give you a name. They can't give you a name, you know? And you want to give someone a reasonable or a favorable expectation to live up to. And so, hey, Lord, you're a reasonable person. All I'm asking is for a few minutes of your time, just to kind of give you a different perspective. Does that sound reasonable? Make it easy for them to say yes.
Yeah.
Make it as easy as you can.
Yeah.
And having another set of eyes or having another opinion is never a bad thing, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah. That's great. That's really good. I love asking, who is it? I might know him.
So what do you do? Because now you've put them on the spot, you put them on the defensive when you ask that question.
Based on how you ask.
What do you,
If you say,
how do you come back from that and reel
if
them
they
back?
say, you know, I get it. And you can, so I'm an A to B kind of person, right? I'm an A to B. And so were you just trying to get rid of me? I mean, I get it, I understand, but you know, the need that you've got still doesn't evaporate, right? Something to think about. How many of you guys in here eat? We all eat. I don't eat McDonald's, right? But if McDonald's were to close down today, how many of you would still eat today? All of us. And so my point in saying that is, the need does not evaporate if we do not perform our tasks. Your clients are gonna be fulfilled by someone else if you don't make those calls. The need for purchasing or selling does not go away. The fact that we're all licensed now did not create more sales. You just took them from somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's how I think about it. If I don't perform my job, if I don't do it, the need doesn't go away. It's gonna be fulfilled by someone else. I would rather I would just be A to B. If you're just trying to get rid of me, I understand. You know, all I'm asking is for an opportunity to share what we've got. Depends on the context of the conversation, right?
For sure.
You know, we've already everybody knows somebody, you know. Okay, if it's a for sub owner and they say they already have an agent,
Yeah.
what's even better is an agent that's a for sub owner.
Oh.
You ever call those? Yeah, well, I'm a licensed agent in Georgia. And why aren't you on MLS? Why aren't you listed? So it depends on the context.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd be a little bit more bold if it's a expired or for sub owner. You know, and I don't throw rocks at anybody, right? Meaning I don't want to say, well, the average agent does one deal a year. We did 100 and something, you know, I don't want to get into that because we were all new at one point. You know, I'm asking this for a few minutes of your time. Is that reasonable?
That's great. That's great. So when you have clients telling you, and we're thinking about conversion, right? When you have clients telling you they're not ready, you know, and you're getting those maybes, like you're just trying to stay in the game. What do you do? Like, how do you stay in the game?
I mean, so we want to go through and grade our pipeline, you know, often, right? And so we want to know if it's going to be 0, 30, 30 to 60, 60, and we want to know where we're at, right? And be realistic with that. And I think if we don't know what motivated people are going to transact rather than unmotivated people, right? And knowing exactly where they are, but also keeping in mind that, okay, has anyone ever had someone that was going to buy from you or sell with you, and they said it's going to be 6 months, and you followed up with them in 6 months, but they'd already picked somebody else? Has anyone ever, right? So it's the follow-up, right? And it's not, and it doesn't have to be, if I'm gonna do a follow-up, I wanna keep it as brief as I can. Hey, Lord, Brian, I was thinking about you today. Can I do anything for you? No, Brian, we're good. Are we still looking at this date? Yeah, we're still looking. Hey, if I can do anything for you, let me know. Brief. And I think oftentimes we get too carried away and we want to talk too long. And then that's when they start screening our phone calls. That's when they go, man, I'm not talking to Brian today because, man, he can talk the horns off a goat. I'm not going to answer the phone today. Right?
Talk the horns off a goat.
That's a good.
Yeah, and so,
That's a
Yeah,
new one.
and so I think we have a tendency to get too long-winded, but then getting short and say, I was just thinking about you, is there anything I can do for you? Are we still thinking about X date? Yeah, we're still thinking about X date, awesome. And so I'm gonna follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up. And sometimes it's just, hey Glenn, it's happy Tuesday, man, I was thinking about you, anything I can do for you? No, we're good, Brian, awesome, call me if you need me, bye.
That's good. You were here a few months ago and you talked about like the number of follow-ups that the average agent does, I think. And like, what's your mindset on that? Like how many times? Just as much as it takes? Like what's
I'm gonna follow up with you until you either deal with me or file a restraining order. So, but I say that jokingly, I'm not pushy. I'm confident in what we do. And you can imagine people's couple belief is half of what yours is in yourself. Meaning, if I know I can help Lord, I know I can help Loredana. I know I can. Well, then she may think I can. Right? If I know I can, she may think. If I think, she may wonder. But I know she may think. If I think, she may wonder. So, man, I think I can help Loredana. I think I could. Right? So I want to go into it knowing I can, so she may think I can, as opposed to going into it with me, I think I could, and then she's gonna wonder. Does that make sense at all?
that's so good. That's so good.
I've had the pleasure of listening to him for over a year on these calls. If y'all aren't on the calls in the morning, you need to be. That's it, the confidence, you know you can, you know in your mind, you are the best agent for them, and it's very evident in his discussion when he cold calls.
I love that. Just approaching your lead generation with like, I know that I'm the person that can help these people. And if I know it, they'll believe it, right? They'll think it, right? Because if you
They'll
think
feel
it, they wonder. If you believe, they think.
And that's just my way of making it go through in my brain.
That's so good.
I just have to think, if I know, they think it, if I think, they wonder. So they're not gonna be as enthusiastic about you as you are, is my point, right? They're not gonna love you as much as your mama does, right? So, and I think also, if we do not follow up, if we do not put in the time, if we don't do that, and they choose someone else, then whose fault is it? They feel they've made a great decision because you've not followed up with me enough and you didn't believe in yourself enough. Okay. I think oftentimes people avoid the no. Okay. What would you guys rather have? A maybe for 8 months or a no you get today? A no today. So why don't we ask for it? Why don't we ask for it? Why don't we count all the maybes out there and we feel good about it, but people are gonna tell you no in 8 months. I'd rather get the no today. And then the no today doesn't mean it's gone away, that I'm gonna burn the bridge. I'm not burning the boats. But I'm gonna press them to get a no today, so it's not a false sense of my pipeline in the future. And I think so many of us count those false maybes, or, yeah, let me think about it, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? I'd rather ask the question now, and not that I'm gonna burn it down, right? I mean, I've had clients that's taken me 4 years to convert. 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, do they move on do they move on the pipeline? It may be, as opposed to every Friday, it may be every few months or every, they move around. But I want to help anybody and everybody we can.
It's great. That's so good. Okay, so some other granular stuff. What do you, what's your go-to like podcast or book for inspiration?
I mean, I listen to a lot. I mean, we listen to a lot of business related books. I mean, MREA podcast is great.
Yeah.
I listen to Ligonier Ministries, R.C. Sproul. If you guys ever listen to R.C. Sproul, pastor. I mean, oddly enough, I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast a fair amount because I think that's got some pretty neat, topics, or just not that you want to be a worldly guy, but knowing a little bit about a lot's helpful in what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm listening to The Road Less Stupid right now. That's a business related book, which is a good one. I very rarely listen to the radio. like it's like chewing gum for the brain, listening to the radio like music. I'll listen to podcasts and books and it changes, I mean, the Jim Rohn library is great. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to Jim Rohn. I mean, lots of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
lots of stuff.
That's great. If you woke up tomorrow and your pipeline was non-existent, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Expires and force of owners and people in my, same thing I did.
Yeah.
Right now, we're about 70% repeat and referral now. Last year we might have only done, 12 or $15 million in, force of owners and expires.
Yeah.
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 So we do a fair amount. I say only, right? It's still pretty decent,
Yeah.
but it's more repeat and referral now. And I think after your third year, you're gonna have that chance to have, if you do your task, if you do your job, you'll have the opportunity to have repeat and referral business. And
Yeah.
fortunately, we've been able to do that
How is your team structured?
now.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 agents and a full-time admin and a TC.
Got it.
So the
Okay.
TC's part-time TC.
Your 2 agents, both buyers agents, is that?
I don't really have a buyer agent model. It's kind of a
Yeah.
hybrid.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can do, like, we've got one of them's got a listing being photographed today,
Mhm.
so we allow for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And both of them are new, that we had 2 others, we had 3 on the team last year and 2 we decided to no longer work with. And then I brought on, one's kind of going through the 30, 60, 90 now. Kyle on my team is a young man. He's got 14 deals done this year so far. 14, like
Yeah.
over $5 million.
Yeah.
So he's doing well.
It's awesome.
Have a full-time ISA.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
they call and so, I think that's on your questions. You might be getting to this.
Maybe.
Yeah, so
If we have time.
I want to.
I wish this was like a 2-hour
Yeah.
conversation, but yeah. So wait, what do you want to say about
No,
that?
I don't-
Yes.
There's one on there. What did you know you didn't want to, or how did you establish leverage in your world early on?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I've never input a listing. I've never input photographs. I've never completed it used to be a green sheet at our offices. I've never done any of that. So the first listing I had someone else put it in. Like I never did. And Laura Donna picks at me about, cause there was a CE class that I was supposed to take and I said, well, I'm not taking that class. And she said, well, why aren't you taking it? I said, cause I'm never going to do that, ever.
It was
This
fair.
is-
Good for
Yeah, it
you.
was like I was a brand new agent. I'm like, I'm not taking the class. I don't need to know how to do that because I'm never gonna do it,
Well, I just love that, knowing who you are, knowing what you enjoy and, delegating things that you don't want to do. You're designing a life you want, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
in a business you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know I'm not, I know where
Your strengths.
I know where my weaknesses are, maybe not where my strengths, but I know where my weaknesses are. when it
Yeah.
comes to that.
Yeah. So I do want to transition into a little bit of listing conversations here in just a minute, because that's kind of where we'll go the rest of the time. But I do just want to open it up. Y'all, we've got Brian here. He came to serve us. I don't want to be the one that asks all the questions. What's top of mind for you guys? We
I
have
would
Brian
really
here.
like to hear what he has to say about ISAs, because that's a really big secret in our business. And nobody wants to talk about them, and nobody talks to you about what they do for you and what they say to your clients for you.
Yeah, so mine is basically, I tell them what areas I want them to call in a compliant way, right? PCPA. And he just puts stuff on my calendar. They put stuff on my calendar. And these aren't people that are these aren't my sphere. These are cold, like, they scrub them, they're compliant, but it's more of a, hey, this area is growing. Have you ever thought about moving? And then, so they put stuff on my pipeline that's either like a today call and they have access to my calendar, or it could be a 6 months, or it could be a 2-year call. And so I started doing that because, right, you either pay for leads, or you wait for it, you pay for it, or you go get it, right? You wait for it, which you'll starve to death if you're waiting for it, right? You pay for it, which you'll go broke if you don't have enough support and revenue coming in, or you go get it. And so the first several years of my business, I was a go get it. I was a go get it person. And now we're in a spot to where we can deploy capital that helps put stuff on the pipeline. And so I'm still doing it.
The for sale by owners and expireds for you, who are they calling for?
They're calling anybody that has a house or wants a house or ever thought about wanting a house. So we don't
they're strictly
specify what.
Cold calls.
Strictly cold, and these are cold, like they don't know me. Right? If they own a home, or they wanna own a home, or if they've ever thought about owning a home, we wanna talk to them. And we pick what areas that, I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to be like,
No, these are.
Yeah, so they're just
questions,
setting up-
answers.
they're just putting people on our pipeline that I don't know. Right? They'll also make care calls for previous clients. They'll do anything that, they'll do anything we ask them to do. But right now it is and so I'm kind of thinking of it as in conjunction with like a farm, or conjunction with a golden letter or whatever. So you have kind of the air troops and the ground troops, and you just deploy them to go take over somewhere. Does that make sense?
Wait for it, pay for it, or go get it. I love that. Just depending on the season that you're in your business, you new agents, it's like, go get it, right?
What else you got on your calendar?
Yeah, go get it.
You're new.
Yeah,
I mean, so that's, and the red book, you guys have all read it or heard of it. It's what, marketing enhanced and prospecting based.
yeah.
So prospecting based, marketing enhanced, and so that's how we've run our business. Prospecting based, and we enhance it by the ISA, we enhance it by other things.
That's great. Do you use a CRM as well?
I do.
What CRM do you use?
Not the one you want me to tell you.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I use follow up boss.
Yeah, this is
I use
having
follow-up
real
boss.
conversations.
I use follow up boss is what I use.
Yeah,
It's easy, it's simple, and I know that, I've heard a lot of great things about Command, here the past few years, so maybe we'll, and it's $500 a month, so I'm open to,
yeah.
Command is free, follow up boss is 500 or 400 something dollars, so. I'm
Yeah.
open to maybe play with it and see.
Yeah. What else do you guys have for Brian? Jason?
I know there's a lot of expireds now, so what's your approach with expireds? Are you guys, what's your strategy there?
So, new agent, okay. So what I did is I would look up expires that were 2 years old or 18 months old. Right? And I would look them up in areas that I wanted to do more business in. Right? The day one expired is getting called by a lot of different people. And those people, if you don't do it every day, are gonna be better than you, understandably. Right? And so I would call someone that, okay, expireds and force of owners. Imagine them when they answer the phone, what do you want? Yeah, what do you got? That's how they answer the phone. And so if you call one that's 100 days old, it doesn't just automatically come up like that. So if I were new, you didn't say new, but you said, what's the strategy? I would go back and look at old ones because they're not going to be fired up right off the bat. I would go back and look at ones. Okay, we know the market of the moment. Lord Donna's going to share it here in a minute. I wouldn't look at the ones that have 40 months of inventory. I wouldn't look at those price points. Everyone wants those big price points until you start paying for it. So I would find a price point that's still moving quickly. I would find ones that have a little bit of grass growing underneath them because they're not going to answer the phone fired up right off the bat. Answer your question?
Yeah.
That's great.
And I would go. Okay? If I were gonna go see expireds, like the ones that expired today, I'm gonna go. I would set myself up on a drip, right? Like you guys set yourself up for your clients a drip. I would set myself up on a drip in maybe 0.5 miles from your address or whatever it is. And you would be notified at 8 o'clock in the morning of anything that expired last night. And I would hop in my car and I would go knock on their door, is what I would do. It's much harder to sell. Okay. Man, you're the fifth agent that's talked to me today. Am I the fifth agent that's been at your door today? Well, no, you're the only one that's been at my door. I'm separating myself from the crowd already. Have you got a minute? Or what was vital about selling it? Or why were you thinking about selling? Selling's a pain in the butt. Holy cow, selling's a pain in the butt. Moving's a pain in the butt. Why were you thinking about moving? And then they tell you why. Right? So I would rather, it's much harder to be told no in person than it is over the phone, right? And so I would set myself on the drip, 0.5 miles away from my house, and I would go knock on that. You wanna make sure that it's not vacant, you know, if you look at the photos and it's a vacant house, then, you know, but then, okay.
Hey, Brian.
I would knock everyone. I would go to that one. And then I would knock 5 doors that way and 5 doors that way and 5 doors that way. Right? I mean, so a lot of times we have like a goal, or we want to go see a for sale by owner, and we go to see it and they're mean, or they hang up on us, or they don't answer the door. And then we get back in our car and we leave. Well, no, why would we? Already took the time, already made the effort, already did the prep for the general prep for the subdivision. Well, then why would I leave? Why would I get back in my car and tuck my tail? Why not? While you're there, you're already there.
That's so
Hey,
good.
Brian.
What will you read? You know,
Nothing,
just yourself and your car
nothing.
chat.
Okay, for me, I can make an excuse not to do it if all the lights aren't green. If all the lights going to town aren't green, I'll talk myself out of doing it. Right? And so I don't wanna have it, I need a flyer, or I need to have this, or I need to have a door hanger, I need to have blah, 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 blah. No,
Just have a conversation.
have your face and a pen.
Do you bring a sign with you sometimes though?
I keep a sign in my truck, and I tell people, man, I keep a sign in my truck. And when I leave today, I'm taking that for sale owner sign. And I've had a lot of them. I throw them away now, but I would collect them. I've got some recently in my garage.
Your FISBO casualties.
Yeah, I'm like, man, save another one today. You know?
Awesome.
But I do keep signs in my vehicle. But as far as like flyers and mailers and all that stuff, I don't keep anything. Because I'll talk myself out of it. Well, man, when I'll go do it when I have a flyer, I'll go do it when I've got a mailer, I'll go do it. No, you're not. You won't. I can't speak for y'all. Do you have a question?
Okay, I wanted to share something that I was contemplating sharing or not. So, and because I would like a critique, maybe you can tell me where I went wrong or how I could do this better if I do it again. But a couple of years ago, I kind of got excited about for sale by owner and expired in FISBO as well. And I kind of thought what you thought. I was like, hey, I bet not many people go do this in person. I'm gonna do it differently. I don't want to just get on the phone. So I like handpicked, I don't know, each week I would pick like 6 or 7 that I focused on that I thought I could make a difference with this field listing. Like this is something I think I could bring value to, and it's in an area I want to be in. And I did the research and I did like this sheet for each one that was very specific to that house. And I mapped it out. Went on a Saturday, I brought my little koozies with my logo on it and a little gift bag, and I had my little thing. I physically mailed it out, like the packet to them earlier in the week, so I know they would have gotten it by Saturday, and then I showed up at the door unannounced with that same information. And I thought, I have just unlocked the magic of this. This has got to work. And I did it for a few weekends with like the worst turnout. Like nobody was home. Nobody called, and I would leave the stuff. I'm like, certainly they're gonna come home and go, wow, this realtor left this stuff for us. They're gonna call. Nobody called me, like, nobody cared about anything I put in the mail, and it was kind of humiliating, and I was like, wow, I was expensive, really bad at that, and yeah, time expensive. I was like, well, that was an epic fail. I don't know if I've ever admitted out loud to anyone that I did that,
You have kids?
but I did it.
You have
It was
kids?
grown.
No.
Yeah.
Were they always grown?
No.
Did they ever learn how to ride a bike or swim? How long did you give them to learn how? Okay, how many of us have kids that don't know how to walk? All of us. I mean, if there's some sensitive or some ailments, right, that prevent that. We didn't give our kids, you got 3 weeks to learn how to walk or we're gonna give up on you,
Yeah.
right? You're gonna stick and learn how to walk, period. You're gonna ride that bike. You're gonna learn how to swim.
I think.
And so that's how I view that.
Yeah, like, I think my question would be, how can I pare down the process so it's not such a time suck for the ones that don't
Okay.
work out? I don't know, like.
You waited for all the green lights to be perfect and you didn't go back to town.
Probably.
Yeah, there's not a probably do. There's not a probably do it, right? And so I wouldn't put all, okay. I think the effort and the, okay, it's kind of like having a bunch of goals and you're fired up and you're driven, you've got the why, we've got our why, you've got all that. Okay, well, who's easier to deter? Right? Someone with all that, flowing out of them, who's easier to deter? That person or someone that doesn't have it? Right? And so I think sometimes by doing the prep, by doing the homework, by knowing all the stats, okay, I have a lot of analogies, and so forgive me, it's just how I talk. How many in here has ever taken a test? Okay, all right. So when you go in there for a test that you're not prepared for, how do you feel?
Not great.
You're like, this is gonna be a rough one. Or you go in there and you're thinking prepared, you know this stuff. Give it to me, what else you got? So that's how we have to feel when we go talk to people. You're prepared for the test. Be prepared for the test. No, the professor may not show up, but being prepared for the test gives you a little swagger, a little extra confidence. You're ready to take it. What you got? Right? As opposed to just showing up on test day and you don't even know what book you're in. Right? So you didn't give, okay, another one. We give ourselves plenty of time to fail, but not enough time to succeed at this. We give ourselves man, nobody does. Force owners, they don't work, they're not for me, or expires, they don't work, they're not for me. But they say it about everything that every one of us get business from. There are people out there that hate open houses. There are people out there that hate buyers. There are people out there that hate. I've had someone the other day say, well, Brian, I'm going to get rid of my buyers. Okay, that's the second most profitable thing we do. Listings are the most, buyers are the second most. Who's doing your mailers? Who's doing your flyers? Who's doing your social media? Who's doing all your paperwork? Well, I'm doing all that crap. So you want to get rid of buyers before you get rid of that stuff? Anyway, I jumped on not picking at you. You didn't give yourself time to be successful at it.
I'm just, and I know you're not looking at what I left, but I'm just curious, like what I missed. Cause I thought that it
I
was
don't
so
leave
good.
anything. I don't
But
leave
I'm like,
anything.
I missed something.
I don't even leave, if I call, I don't even leave them with Keller Williams. Brian Smith. Hey, Laura Donna, Brian Smith. 1010, call me back when you can. I'm gonna call you back twice. If I call you the first time you don't answer, I'm gonna call you right back. Brian Smith. Only time I say Keller Williams is if they know who I am. I've already spoke to them in the past. But if it's expired or for someone, I don't even tell them with Keller Williams. That's a quick way to not get phone calls, is if you leave a card. Now, I have in the past left a note, just a note on the back of a business card, stuck in the windshield of their car or at the front door or in the garage, right? I mean, so those three places, front door of the car, or the door of the car, front door, or a garage door that goes up, right? But I've never once left a flyer or a mailer or a koozie. But that's me, I've never done it.
Yeah. Well, I don't recommend it.
But that same thing, if you ask 100 agents, and everyone's gonna have a different opinion about it, but if someone did, if someone did that every day,
It would eventually work.
if someone did that, it's like adding 3 people to your database every day. Now, the first week, that's what, 15, the first month, that's 60, the first year, that's 720. If you added 720 people to your database for 3 years consecutively, that's over 2,000 people. It's probably gonna put out 200 deals a year. But over one time, over one day, over 1 week's not gonna really move the needle a whole lot. And so she just happened to be brave enough to say something.
Yeah.
But that goes with anything you guys do. I mean,
Consistency. Well, and you shared earlier the math, right? Like you have X amount of conversations that lead to a lead, that lead to a deal, right?
Yes.
It's kind of no different.
and you figure we only hear so many objections. There's only so many. So it's not like we've got to learn, 500 different objection handlers. There's a few. I have an agent. We don't need an agent. We decided not to sell. We don't want to pay. I mean, there's not many more than that. Right? So you learn how to have a conversation around those. And did you have a question?
Yes, I had two questions. I'm a recent realtor, but I tried doing the FSPO. What, in your opinion, what is the most, what is the reason why most people go for sale by owner? Is it just because I have two people who are doing this and I'm trying to convince them, but I feel I don't have the right, responses to their objections?
So an expired doesn't believe in the agent that expired. right? That's what an expired, so it's not a matter of belief in agents, it's just a lack of belief in that agent. Right? No, unless it's expired with the same agent and they've put it back up 10 different times and it's the same agent every time. So an expired is they don't believe in that agent. For sale owner doesn't believe in an agent, doesn't believe in an agent. The biggest difference. Man, my statement is, are you more concerned about what you net, or are you more concerned about what you pay me? I can give you the answer. You should be more concerned about what you net. And if I can show you a way that's gonna net you what you want to net, what's the harm in at least me coming out to talk to you? No harm in that, Brian.
That was great. That's gold right there, because you're getting to the heart of the objection.
We know the objection with a for sale owner. They might say, well, we've sold houses before, we sold this before. I mean, they might say that, but you go straight to the answer. We know it's the money. Right? So if I can show you a way to net what you want to net, are you more concerned about that? Or are you more concerned about paying me? Well, I'm more concerned about my net. I agree, you're a smart person. When's a good time for us to meet?
Thank you. I had a second question, but I mean, okay. So I know everyone talks about, door knocking, cold calling. And I know a lot started, but in today's situation, do you think that is still, I feel like it is offensive. I know how it is when people cold call me or my sphere, where they just don't like it. Do you think social media and texting or on WhatsApp is a less intrusive way versus calling them directly?
Well, of course, right? I mean, of course.
And does that work better
I don't.
in recent times?
I think, so for me, if I'm gonna door knock you, I have to have a reason why I'm there. Right? And my reason every time is, okay, let's say, open house. Knock. Hey, Laura Donna, Brian Smith, Keller Williams. We know the next person that's gonna sell in this neighborhood. It's Bob Jones down the road. We're doing an open house from 2 to 4 on Saturday. Love for owners in the neighborhood to come up here between 1 to 2. We'd love for you to come check it out. So we know the next person that's gonna sell in this neighborhood. We know who that is. My job is to try to find the next person that's gonna sell after that. Does that happen to be you?
That's great.
Or, we just pinned it. We know the next person that's gonna sell in this neighborhood, we just pinned it. I mean, so mine is, I've challenged myself to find the next person that's gonna sell in this neighborhood. Does that happen to be you? Every time. Every time. Because we go in there and we knock on the door and we get that blank stare over our face and we have to think about what we're gonna say. Right? So mine is,
Well, I was just gonna say, if you're a new agent, you can hold an open house this weekend and have this conversation. You can have this conversation. You know what Abe tells us in bold? You knock on the door, you point. You're
Right.
pointing somewhere else,
Right.
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah.
Can I
Do that
add
this
a
weekend.
suggestion on that?
Yes, please.
Even if you don't hold the open house, if, say, anybody in this office has an open house that happens this weekend in a neighborhood you'd like to go door knock, you could just call that agent after the open house and say how many people came. And you can door knock just off that.
Use that
You can
number.
walk around and say, we had 12 people at our open house this weekend who want to be in this community. We're looking to see if anyone else wants to sell.
Use the word demand. Where did this come up in
Yeah.
conversation yesterday? You're there to create demand. And if you're knocking on doors telling people, hey, 20 people showed up to an open house and there's demand for your house. Are you interested in selling? If not, who do you know? If you can provide value while knocking on somebody's door. Brian, I feel like we need like half a day with you. This is so rich. I do, Jonetta, you've been raising your hand back there. Let's get to your question and then I want to get into listings real quick.
Say, that I'm a big fan of Brian's,
well, thank you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really start calling you, I saw you at another moment, Brian, you. Because I've heard you on calls, and it's just so realistic and simple, and it just really, impacted me in a lot of ways, things that you said, like, don't do the things during the day that you can do at night, but that was just so profound for me, because I'm busy being busy, you understand, and then, like, you know, when you take a simple approach, and what I think I like most is that you have such southern etiquette. When you call people, nobody's, you know, you didn't mention that, but you're always Mr. Johnson, Miss Betty. And I think that goes a long way, so it resonates with me when I call people. I wanna use that and say, hey, Miss whoever, or Mr. Or whatever. I think it goes a long way for you, and it's natural for you. It's not like you just putting on, but for me, I respect that, and it's very meaningful. So the question that I have is, when you're calling, I hear people like, oh, they'll say you're with a certain agency, or, you know, use like, hey, this is Joe, I'm a local realtor. What's your approach with that? Do you call and say, hey, I know you use Brian, just, you know, like, hey, this is Brian, call me back, or I call you, you know, whatever, but when you're calling like an expired, do you introduce yourself as a local realtor, or do you just still say, hey, this is Brian?
So if it's someone that I'm gonna say it's Keller Williams, and that without being, okay. It gets back, in my opinion, if we don't believe in if you don't believe in yourself enough to, say, hey, I'm Keller Williams, man, I own it 100%, right? And I think it's one of those things, if you're woken up in the middle of the night and say, you know, why should I pick you? And you don't have that just flowing out of yourself. And so, no, I don't say local realtor, I don't say I'm a local expert, I don't say any of that. Brian Smith, Keller Williams, 100% of the time. Now, if I'm leaving a message, I don't tell them, because if you don't want to get callbacks, just tell them you're a real estate person, right? Just tell them you're a real estate person. So I just say, hey, this is Brian, give me a call back when you can. I'll call him back twice. I mean, if you guys are on the calls, we'll call him back twice. But yeah, I say Keller Williams every time. Brian Smith, Keller Williams, have I caught you at a good time? I mean, yeah, and the southern thing is just, I was raised, you know, so that y'all be you guys, right? Some of the things I say, you are not gonna be able to say, and some of the things you say, I'm not gonna be able to say. Right? You know you better than anyone, so I think with any of this stuff, man, it's just doing it. And realizing you're gonna be told no as part of it. It shouldn't be a surprise. You know?
Yeah. So let's talk real quick about pricing conversations.
Sure.
On listing consoles.
Mhm.
How is your approach different now than it was, say, 2 years ago?
Man, I haven't really changed it a whole lot. I mean,
Okay.
we've always had, you know, so we know it's a lag indicator, how many showings it takes to go pending in any county we service. It's a lagging indicator. So we know that in you know, Fulton County, it's 14 showings to go pending. And we know the average days on market, right? But that's as of July, not August. So will August be, you know, so will August, do you think the market has gotten hotter in August or cooler than what it was in July? Well, it's probably cooler, so it's probably more days on market, right? So, but I'm a upfront, you know, so on every one of my listing agreements, we've got, I mean, I think I've shared probably some of my special steps, but man, this many days, no showings, price reductions, this many showings, no offers, price reductions. Right, and it's written in my special step before we ever take the listing, right? It's there. And I think a lot of times the pricing reduction conversation happens after you've made promises, or you've made the assumptions that you're gonna do this or that, and you've not had that awkward conversation. I'd rather have an awkward conversation while we're all getting along now. Yeah, we're still courting one another. We're still in the courtship phases of this relationship. I would rather have that conversation now, because in a few months or in a week, and you're upset and you're mad at me, well, just remember, I told you 14 showings, no offers, we're dropping. 14 days, no offers, we're dropping. You know, day one, before whatever the county, it's county specific, but
Where are you getting that data?
FMLS.
Info Sparks,
For the number of showings.
specific.
And some of you guys follow Tommy Choi, mega agent up in the Chicago area. He uses the showing to offer ratio to kind of have that conversation. Brian, thank you so
No,
much
yes, sir.
for
Yes, sir.
being here today.
Yes, sir.
Let me say this, if you find value in this, Brian has conversations around this and does live calls every week
Yeah.
on the Mastering the Market of the Moment. So thank you, man.
No,
Appreciate your time. we're gonna have to do more masterminds, with you, so, very grateful. Laura Donna, will you join us for a few minutes here? So
2 minutes.
to continue around this listing conversation and leveraging chart masters, y'all put your hands together for our amazing general manager.
Ryan, I'll give you some content for you to create a class because you have 13 lessons that are very valuable. That he just throws it out there
Yeah.
and it comes so natural. But this is what I took away. Simple gets done. My favorite quote ever is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. We all know that quote. Da Vinci said it. And I think that Brian is honestly living that. If it's simple, he's gonna get it done. Okay, let's go to Chart Masters. How many of you have actually received these? Did you receive it this month? How many of you have used it already? Okay. Why don't we use it? And the reason why I'm asking the question is because I really want to know. Is it because we're not having enough conversations around it? Is it because we are not explaining well on how to use it? Is it because you don't think it's valuable? Yes.
Sometimes, and this is probably just user error, but sometimes I find it difficult to go in and make the adjustments, so it's specific to the areas I'm selling in, because I know they're basing this on Metro Atlanta, and I don't typically want to use that. So sometimes I don't have a problem with it, and sometimes I do. So again, user error could be, I don't know if or sometimes maybe I'm using the wrong link that's being sent out. But there have been times that I've wanted to use it for a listing appointment, but I couldn't get it like pulled together in time to actually show that zip code or that area. And so then I'm just pulling one or two like easy charts from it instead of using the ones I really want to.
Thank you, Wendy, for that feedback, because I think it's very valuable. If it's not simple enough and quick, we're just not gonna use it. But this is golden. And would it be valuable to actually put a class together on how to use the customizable stuff?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what is it that we need to do so that we implement this more in our conversations. Brian, do you use it?
Yes, ma'am.
That's my point. One of the lessons that Brian shared was, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's golden. I'm not gonna take long. One of the lessons, he said something, if you be prepared for the test. Honestly, I think this is the book we need to read before we have any conversations. Do you know we're being tested every step of the way? How many people ask you, how's the market doing? Maybe your neighbors. Right? That's when you use this. And when you go to a listing appointment or a buyer consultation, you use those specific stats, right? But are we prepared for the test that comes to us every single step of the way so that we can lead with confidence? Where do you think Brian's confidence comes from? Knowledge. This is what this provides. So thank you, Wendy. Is there another reason why we don't use it?
Just they're difficult and we don't train enough around them. And, you know, if you ask somebody how or where or what slide, nobody knows. I mean, half the time when I was a newer agent, nobody could even tell me where to find them. You know, and I hate to say that, and it's no reflection against you guys, but
No, that's why I'm asking the question.
We
because
want
this is what
feedback.
we want.
Yeah.
First of all, we want to fix it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just started using these, and I picked the ones that I have been having or the most conversations about, obviously interest rates or balance, sellers one. So I have the year one, and then the monthly one. The monthly one doesn't give me a lot of data. So I kind of compare them, but I just picked a couple that are relevant that I, if I were a buyer self, that I would want to know that information. Interest rates are, having that straight line, this is a great time to wait. I think just getting comfortable with, we can do the area all day long, but that's like, gee, that's when you're getting the reason. This might just be to open the door.
Yeah.
So I think it's just finding those, a couple of slides or that is easy for you and you just kind of know it by heart and use it. I think just picking, don't think you have to use the whole thing.
Yes, I love that. Thank you for that. I think we can do a better job of talking about it and maybe every single month we touch on it. Because this is so valuable. This is what's gonna differentiate you.
Oh, to that, so instead of talking about the whole thing, maybe it's breaking it down into a specifics and just talk about the conversation.
Yep.
You know, like what would you ask? Like, here's just really the the dialogue or the scripts that you could use to really love the slides.
Maybe you
I
have
love
some
that.
15 or
That's
something,
exactly what,
15 minutes.
yes. Yeah, that was the intent today. So this is what I'm gonna do. Just gonna touch, we have 3 slides today. We're gonna touch on each slide, one conversation, and Brian, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Because if you're there, the king of scripts, now you have to earn that. You make people earn the no, you're gonna have to earn that.
I didn't tell them to say that.
You're gonna earn it today. But I have 2 awesome stats. Did you all know that you're on track as an office to take the most amount of listings ever in the history of the market center? Ooh, that's good. Congratulations, you're doing an awesome job. Okay, listings taken to listings, so we celebrate the wins, and then we look for the opportunity where we can actually make an impact. Listings taken to listings sold ratio.
67%.
Oh my goodness, you memorized that. Okay, 67%. Who knows MREA? Where is that? Listing? Yes, ma'am. 75%. 75%. So we're taking 100 listings, we're selling 67. Now, you're outperforming the market. We're gonna look at it. But there is an opportunity, right, there to increase by at least 8%. 8% is a lot. Out of 1,000 listings, 8% would be 100.
Where's the market at?
The market is, we're gonna look, so 42.9% are failing. Overall, right? We're not talking about specifics, right? Yes.
That's great.
So you are outperforming the market, but again, you're good. There is a little bit of work to be done to be great, right? Which is 75% or more. So that's why this is important. Okay, let's look at Brian. Please pay attention. That's how we communicate. We've known each other ever since you got this license. So Brian, I know you're not taking this personally. Okay, so we're looking at, we had 5,986 new listings. We sold 3,577 contracts, right? If we look at price points, you mentioned that, right? The price point that actually sold the most, the price point with the most amount of listings produced in the market and the most amount of closed sales is 400 to 500,000. Right? Okay, month supply in that price point, 3.7 months, overall 3.8 months, right? Look at this, median sales price to list price ratio, 93%. Okay, for a $500,000 listing, that listing will sell with 465 on average. Okay, Brian, how do you help a seller understand that there's gonna be some negotiation? The seller wants to list at 550, and you know that listing needs to be max at 5. What do you say?
Well, you look at the days on market with reductions required.
Yes, days on
So
market.
it goes from 12 to 76. Right, and so the carrying cost, for 3 months versus carrying it for 2 weeks. And then the reduction, where's it, I don't have my, I
42.
don't wear glasses, but I just say I don't have my glasses.
You asked me and I'm the seller and I'm
I need those.
Okay, I'm the seller and you just gave me this. Just ask me the question and I'll tell you the numbers.
What was the question again?
So the question was.
You wanna have it on, pricing it where we need to be is gonna be 12 days versus, going at your number is gonna be 76 days with a reduction that's gonna be, what's the percentage of sales price with it, with the reductions?
And with 2 mortgage
93.5.
payments in the middle of it.
Right.
So it sells at 100% list price to sales price ratio with no price reduction versus 93.5% list price to sales price ratio with a price reduction.
That's right.
But Brian, I understand that and yet I still want to try it out. Can we do 525?
So for me, I will take an overpriced list. I'll be the first to tell you. But I do my best to not. I'd rather have that conversation, And so I also ask folks, what's your I'm gonna keep it number? I mean, and which, we talked about that before. What's your I'm gonna keep it number? Well, if I don't get 525, then I'm gonna keep it. Well, if I know that 500 is the number, then I may not consider that listing. I may not take that listing. Now, if they'll let me do opens every day, if they'll let me, so I had an agent years ago. I took a horrible listing and it was too much, right? But it was one of the first listings I took. And she said, she sold me my first house. She's like, listen here, honey, listen here, you need to ride that listing like Seabiscuit. And I'm like, what do you mean? She said, you need to be doing open houses, you need to glean as much as you can from it and get as much opportunity as you can from that listing. She said, you're never gonna sell it, honey, you're never gonna, well, she was right, I never sold it. But, anyway. So I would do my best to get them to list the number it's gonna take, because it's 100% of list price in 12 days versus, 93% in 3 months.
So with this slide, what I'm hearing is having the conversation up front. If in say 14 days, we don't have an offer, then doesn't it make sense to look at what could happen and not to take that price reduction of that percentage so that we're not on the market for another 2 months?
100%. And think about this, 27.9% of the listings in this price point are still selling over asking. And yet 50.1% in this price point are needing a price reduction. So of the 49.9% that do not require a price reduction, 27.9% are actually over asking. So if we're trying an overpriced listing, we do not have that chance of selling it above list. Do we? Right? So Brian, when would you have the conversation? Okay, Brian, I still want to do 525. Yes, 525. Yes, I still want to do 525. When would you have the conversation with the special stipulation?
As far as reductions, before I take it.
Okay, so I got it. 525, we agree with that. Yeah, you agree. Okay, it's overpriced. 525. So Brian, will you do this for me? 525, I really want to try it.
Yes, I'll do it. And I would say, so we like to list on Thursdays. I would say we'll know by the lack of activity or the amount of activity, whether we price it right or wrong. And you're gonna own it. I mean, you're gonna own it. So these numbers, this is what I recommend, but that number also has to be sold to the other agents, the other buyers, and to appraisers. So it has to be sold to other folks. If we're thinking we're not gonna appraise, you're asking me to create a market that doesn't exist. And it's not just me selling it, it's the appraisers have to come up with this as well. So I would recommend we not try that, because it's gonna extend it based on that. It's gonna extend your days on. Okay, it also depends on what their motivation is. There's a lot of other things that come along in that conversation, but I'd rather have it up front. And I would like to say that I would walk away from it, or I would tell them no, but I know me, for 25K, I'm taking the listing. If I'm saying 525 or 500, they're saying 525, I'm taking it. And I'm just gonna have a hard reduction in writing before we put it up.
But Brian, if it to that, and I've done this before, when I used to actually do a lot of expires. When you have that conversation and you believe it and you tell them, say, this is. Based on my experience and based on the data, this is what you can expect, and if their expectations are too high. Don't you just walk away from that and have them call you and,
Okay, I think it gets back to that conversation we had earlier, depends on
It's a risk.
Depends on your pipeline, it depends on if your pipeline's full, you're busy. And you got your bandwidth is already redlining, then I wouldn't mess with it, but if you're new, I mean, you newer folks. Well, I'd stick and take it, I'd have a sign out there and I'd be, to quote that lady, I'd be riding that listing like Seabiscuit, I would have.
I just want to make sure y'all wrote down when he said you're trying to create a market that doesn't exist. That was cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, Nate. Okay, 2 things on this slide, 5,407 new listings in July 2024. Look at July 2025, only 4,897, 510 less listings being put on the market. Is that the perception?
No.
I think we need to highlight that. Let's look at number of quote, 4,438, but look at this, 4,467, pretty much the same. Less listings being brought as an inventory, yes, we have more active on the market,
Yeah.
but less listings brought in the market. And yes, and the number of units closed are the same. Another thing that I would like for us to leave with today is, look at this. So in July 2024, sellers were paying $6,000 towards closing costs. Today, they're paying $7,721 on average, and 66.5% of sellers pay closing costs.
I just got an offer today for $19,000 in closing costs.
Wow.
I might.
That might go
Sellers
hand
are
in
gonna
hand.
take it.
Yes, and that might go hand in hand with the opportunities that I think everybody now is adopting that marketing strategy that builders do, right? And they buy points. This one, Kathy, look guys at this. This is home sales versus mortgage rates. Home sales in units. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about it is related to affordability. However, when we had the lowest interest rate we had was 2.65 on average. We were selling 6,446 units because money was free. People were buying, selling as many times as they could, right? With 7.76, that was the average in 2024, right? 7.76, we dropped to 2,000 units. Do you see that? Now look at this. We are at 6.67. By the way, did you all know that yesterday, I didn't check this morning, but yesterday we had, this weekend we had the lowest interest rate year to date. I think the lowest interest rate in the past 2 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, where was it this
Well,
morning?
we're hitting, depending on credit score, down payment
Yeah.
program, we're hitting below 6.5 consistently. And that just feels good to the consumer when they can hear that. They can do a 1.0 buy down with us and start at like 5 5/8, go up to 6 5/8. They can do buy before you sell. I mean, there are so many layers of opportunity in the financing consultation that it's available, right? It's available.
So 1%, what I'm seeing here, 1% increases, right? This was 7.7 versus 6.6, let's say 6.7, right? I see a difference of 1,000 units a month. Do you guys see what's about to happen? It does have a little bit of delay. No, I'm not saying that the floodgates are open and we're gonna have 1 million buyers walking in, but it's just 100% more. But do your people know? Do your people know that this weekend, we actually have the lowest interest rate in the past? Kathy, you can give us, like, I know it's 1.5 years. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's almost 2 years, but the key is, and the prices have not reflected that yet.
Yeah.
With the sellers. We haven't transitioned to that seller's market yet.
Yeah.
That's the
Which,
key. That's the key. Big key.
get them ready, that's what I would say. So I would take this slide, put a thought-provoking question, send it to your database. Did you know? This is the best time to actually list, because guess what? More interest is about to come based on a 6.67, 6.5. Right? Okay, is that helpful? Yes. Okay, thank you, guys. I know we're way over.
That's
time.
okay, Lordana, thank you. So more masterminding around the charts? Is that what I'm hearing? If we mastermind more around these charts? Awesome.
Yeah.
Lordana, we'd love to have you for that. So more to come on that. Rob, thank you for lunch. You got a quick pitch for us? Be as brief as you can. He just walked out. Yeah, there he is. Did I offend Rob?
Yeah, gotta do a drawing, so just before I even get started, I'm gonna pass this box around in case you haven't got your card in here yet. I'm gonna give away $50 at Ray's. So you guys definitely want a piece of that. Let me start over here. Y'all just pass that around. Cool. Yeah, if it's not already in there, don't do it twice. I'm gonna pass this around the other way, which is a stack of the kind of the cheat sheet you're gonna have for the test that I'm gonna give you. I promise it's not gonna be any more than 2 or 3 PM before you guys get out of here. It's let me start this over. Take one to pass it around if you don't mind. So my name is Rob. I am gonna get you out of here real quick because I got lunch that's in the other room. You guys are gonna really like it. What a pleasure it is to be here today. And one of the best gifts that I get as I'm doing this with my wife, Beth, who's right around the corner, we've been doing this for a long time, is that when we go around and we meet realtors and work in offices like that, there she is, we get to hear from so many other great professionals like Brian today. And one of the things he said that we all talked about is, where does his confidence come from? And the answer is the knowledge, right? There's so much fear and ignorance when it comes to homes with septic tanks, that this has been a great opportunity for me to partner with realtors and kind of alleviate some of that unknown. There are 37% of the homes in Georgia are on septic, right? And one of the realtor friends that I met recently said to me the other day in confidence, he said, you know what? Before I met you, if somebody that was a client of mine said to me, I don't want to look at any houses at all that have septic, I don't even want to deal with that. He said, I'd say, okay. He'd say, okay, I'm just gonna rule that, you're right. I don't know anything about that either. And so we're gonna just take that 37% of all homes right off the table. Versus if that realtor friend of mine at the time had the confidence to be like, no, I know a guy, there's no problem with that. I mean, how often does a homeowner just need that reassurance from their partner in you that it's going to be just fine? Don't worry about that, right? I got a guy for that. And so I'm going to be here just real quick to introduce myself. And I've got, the paperwork. I've got on the table back there, I got what I like to call the world's greatest pen, right? You guys got to get one of those. Get my pamphlet. Let's take time. And if you've got your card in here, that's great. Let's take time over the next couple of days and touch base and just let you guys know how we can be a greater help for you. We have started offering specifically, and it's something that kind of happened during COVID. I'm real excited about this. All of my customers that I ever wanted to talk to outside their homes went away. Everybody during COVID said, you know what? Could you just make a little video that articulates what's going on with this septic system that I've called you about and send it to me inside the house? I said, sure. There's so many things that a customer would want to know when they call me out to look at their septic system, because there's no mandate or law that says you have to have your septic tank pumped out in Georgia or anywhere in the South. If you do it, if you have your septic tank pumped out as a homeowner, it's probably because you experienced a symptom of a problem and you were in an emergency and you called somebody out there as a crisis to pump it out. And so our phone rings all day long with customers or potential customers saying like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. Please come to my house and help me figure out what's going on. I had it pumped out a year ago. I had it pumped out a month ago. We don't know what the problem is, and I'd love to get to the bottom of it. And that's kind of where our specialty is. It's helping people with complicated problems, but not being complicated solutions. And so in the course of doing that business, people started saying to me, hey, could you just make a little video that tells what's going on? Send it to me. I don't want to be outside. I don't want to smell this. This is not for me. And so as I was doing that, one of my customers that was a realtor said, oh man, that video that you made was awesome. Would you come and do an inspection for me and just reward yourself looking inside the septic tank, identifying what all the components are, helping my customers and clients to understand what there it is that they're even looking at? Because up until now, the septic inspections I've gotten were pass, fail. Right? It's just sometimes a hand drawing that comes with it, right? It's just would you tolerate that from a home inspector? Would you tolerate that from a home inspector that came and said, house is good, or sorry, thumbs down on this house? No, you would want pictures, you would want documentation. You'd like for that home inspector to make your job a little easier by documenting the things they see in such a way as where you can hand it to your client, but well, here's the report, let's look at it together. Not you have to invent all the things to talk about on subject matter that might not be real familiar for you. So in the course of doing this, I have really come up with a program that's great for you guys, either buyers or sellers agents. If you're representing a home that has a septic tank, goodness gracious, have me come out and take a look at it and document the status of everything before you guys, ideally before you list the house, but surely before you start showing it, because again, people neglect their septic systems for a long time. Don't let a buyer's agent or a buyer's septic guy be the first person to break you all the bad news about how bad it potentially could be after ignoring it for 30 years. Please get on top of that ahead of time. But if you're a buyer's agent and you're looking at a house on septic and they didn't do anything and they don't know anything, it's like Storage Wars. Right? The door rolls up and you're like, oh my God, how many old cars are there in this thing? Right? As a buyer's agent, if you've got a septic system that's been in the ground for 50 years, well, and there's nothing wrong with it that you could use to negotiate, it'd be the first one I ever saw. Right? They don't last forever in the ground. They fall apart, they deteriorate, people neglect them and ignore them. And so it's a great thing to know more about. You're gonna come across this all the time. I bet you've all got a fun story about some septic guy that you wish you didn't have that story in your back pocket. Listen, I'm the opposite of that. I make your job real easy. I want to be your friend. My wife, Beth, is my partner in this business, and she is on the other end of the phone all the time. You can shoot her a text. You can give her a call. We don't charge but $300 to come out and give that full inspection. That includes me identifying where the tank and the components are, opening it up, looking inside of it, and then shooting that great video that says like, hey, here's what you'd want to know about it. Is it time to be pumped? Is there something else you'd want to know? Here's all the facts. You can use this to really help arm yourself with all the data you need to get this deal closed. I hear from time and time again, the reason that people don't like septics is they can bust a deal up. Right? It's gonna be at the last minute. Here's all this extra contingency that has to happen. I'm not here to bust deals for you. I'm here to give you the opportunity to make more deals. So it's great to meet you guys. Thanks for having me out. Oh, and just real quick about the food I brought. Talking about like always looking for that next deal. I love Blimpie sandwiches. I've been eating Blimpie sandwiches since I was a little kid, but there's not many of them around anymore, right? There happens to be one in East Cobb on Sandy Plains right across from Quick Trip. I was just in there as a customer. I love a sandwich, and you guys make the sandwiches I like, right? And the guy that makes the sandwiches, the owner of the place, Jayesh, he asked the guy in front of me that was wearing like construction worker clothes, he goes, do you guys know anything about installing grease traps? And I said, nope, not me. And I said, no, that's me. I'm over here. That's me. So I got my sandwich, and I closed on a deal with him just on that conversation, having my antenna up to make it so that they could get their business license by installing a grease trap in the floor. And even though that was just a lot of fun, there were some really cool aspects of that project that delayed it just a little bit because I'm digging up the floor inside. I said, I'm never gonna deal with you again after this. That's not true. That guy makes such good sandwiches that I cannot, in good conscience, not bring them to you. So if you remember the commercial from when we were younger, where they've got like the big, long catering sandwiches, I got a couple of those in there for you from the guy that made me so mad at a job I said I'd never buy sandwiches from him again, and yet, well, there they are. All right, help me out. Just draw one of those in there. Oh, that's my part. You're no good. Come help me out. Come here.
Big game.
What's the free lunch?
Kanani Roots?
Kanani, let's go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much for lunch.
Yeah.
Alliance Partners, Kathy, got one
We
thing?
have class tonight, so if you didn't see it online, Deb Jolly and her group and Onward are presenting the VA class tonight. We have a VA expert. She is our national VA rep. She's amazing. She's hilarious, very engaging. So our motto right now, our theme is get pre-approved today and buy before Veterans Day. So if you don't know how to do VA, you don't understand VA, tonight's the night that you can jump on yourself, even if you don't have clients. So register and join us.
What time?
6 to 7.
Is it for agents or for clients?
It's for both. So again, Deb Jolly's coaching platform opened it up to all agents, not just the agents in the platform, because we really want y'all to understand, and let's promote getting these VA offers accepted.
That's great. Jess, you got anything for us? Any updates?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I thought I saw Jackie. Hey, there she is. You got an update for us, Jackie?
I am Jackie Reeves for all the new people I see. From Michael and Grace, I'm the agent service representative, so I'm the one that's always in those emails you're sending to kwrc@mmg.law. Law legal descriptions. You can even send, I know some of you all have been helping assisting with those open houses, and they have been great. You all send us those questions, those comments, and send your contracts too. We won't say no to those, right? So, yeah, anytime you have any questions, you all can take down my cell phone number if you want it. Please feel free. If you don't, I get it, but it's 678-431-5768. So you all, please feel free to call me, text me. I am always available for you all, okay?
Thank you, Jackie. Appreciate it. All right, hey, I sincerely apologize for going long today.
Just.
Oh, Jam was talking to me. But Brian, thank you. That was so helpful. I have so many things swirling around my head, but there was so much gold that you provided us, so thank you. So my closing thought for today is one, wait for it, pay for it, or go get it, right? And so much of it is about the mindset. Do you actually believe you can help people? Then go from that place, right? You guys have a great, thank you, Frank.
12 o'clock, go ahead and feel free to get your lunch and just bring it on back in.